On today's show, we're going to talk about how to come up with winning subject lines for your email marketing. Subject lines are so important because it's the first thing that somebody's going to see, and it's the difference between them opening that message, reading it, clicking, and engaging or replying to you, and not. So on today's show, I'm going to show you exactly how I come up with winning subject lines, and you can use the exact same process to make your email marketing effective. So one of the simplest ways to improve the subject lines that you write is to get on other people's lists and learn from what they do. There's tons of email marketers out there, and I actually do a lot of testing and do a lot of different things each month, each quarter, each year to see what gets the best results. If you want to get on my list, if for some reason you're not on the list already, I know some of you will get this through the list, but if you're seeing this somewhere else, you can go to gabeswords.com. You can opt in there, and I'll share with you 5 days a week. I send an email out about marketing lessons, things that you can apply to your business, mindset, resources, all the things that will help you be not only successful in your marketing, but also in your mindset and approach as an entrepreneur. And if you get overwhelmed with the amount of email marketing that you get, and you just actually want to collect subject lines, you can either filter those messages out if you look up how to filter messages in Gmail, or you can open up a separate Gmail and subscribe through that if you're just doing subject line testing. I don't always recommend that because you'll miss out on other learning and opportunities if you're not actually receiving and reading those emails. But if you're simply actually collecting an archive or library of subject line ideas, it is sometimes a good idea to have a separate email address for that. But once you do that, you'll start to see things that catch your attention, and you can save those or label them or write those down somewhere. And what I've learned over sending, millions and millions of messages at this point, and at some point I'll have to actually aggregate that data and see what I've actually sent, but it's multi-millions at this point. What I've learned is curiosity and being eye-catching and original is really important. There's plenty of email, marketing subject line tools out there that are a great baseline, or, sometimes they're helpful to get your juices flowing. But more important than that, if you know your list and you think about that, that perfect VIP client that you have or that you're going after, and you think, how would I write to them and get their attention? That helps you personalize your thought process. And then from there, you can come up with those really, eye-catching, original, curiosity type driven, or sometimes shocking even subject lines. And there's no right length for a subject line. We just sent out an email to one of our lists today that just had the person's first name in the subject line. And so we're monitoring that. We're going to see if it gets results, if it gets people to click through and do what we want. Other times I've had fairly long subject lines. There is a limit to how long you can do there because it'll just get cut off and people won't be able to see it. So you do want to, when you're writing an email and once you have it ready to go, send a test of the email to yourself, look at it on your phone first, and then on your desktop second. Make sure the phone subject line and the way it looks is the way you want, because that's where most people are going to read the email. But you can test stuff and look at it before you send it. And again, but there's not really a set length. There is a way too long length, but you can have a sentence, you can have a couple words, you can have one word, you can say things like quick question, or you can put the contact first name, or you can say just wondering. Like, there's so many different things you can test, but what's important is to test things that are going to get attention, but that you can deliver on in the email message. So I very frequently use quick question as a cold email that I send when I'm doing cold email marketing. And in the email body, I'm going to say, hey, John, quick question about XYZ. I'm going to follow up exactly what I put in the subject line, because if you promise something, or you're eye-catching, or you get the attention, or you maybe say something a little outrageous and you don't address it in the email, then people are going to feel let down and like you didn't deliver on the promise of the subject line. But with that being said, be willing to try whatever comes to mind that fits within your ethics and how you want to approach your business, because everybody's principles and ethics and approach are a little bit different. Obviously, I believe that no matter what, you should be treating people well and being honest with them, but there's a lot of ways to do that. And so don't allow yourself to think that you can't, be yourself, because the more you are authentically yourself and original, the more attention you're going to get. The second thing is use, tools to test, but trust your gut over everything else, because our intuition is there for a reason, and it's a collection of all of our experiences, all the research, everything we have seen. So use tools to get data and do testing with tools like, look at your email marketing software, see which subject line worked better. There's things called split testing where you can split test 2 different subject lines to see which works better. It's getting a little bit technical, but you can see what's open, what gets clicked the most. So know your data, but end of the day, trust your intuition and see what actually performs. The third thing you can try as it relates to email subject lines is you can do what's called newsjacking. And so I remember, I don't do a ton of this, but whenever it was earlier this year or a while ago now, when Will Smith, slapped Chris Rock, I made a subject line about that because I wanted to get attention, and it was actually directly related to what I was talking about in the email, and it got attention. It was in line with who I am, and like it made sense for the content, and it got attention. So if something that's going on in the news is relevant to your audience and how you approach something, or it's a way to get attention, then you're free to try that as well. But I wouldn't make it the everyday subject line, because you can burn people out with sensationalism or being a little bit too over the top. But again, it's just another thing that you can throw into the mix and test. So with your subject lines, first, just test a lot of different things, see what works. But remember, the goal is to get them to stop scrolling through their inbox, go, what is that? And click into read. And then you need to deliver on the promise of the subject line so they don't feel scammed or like weird that you just used some weird subject line, but then you didn't address that subject line or deliver on that promise in the message. If you have any questions about email marketing, we are here to help. We even have a tool that will give you a bunch of different subject line ideas. If you'd like that tool, just comment down below and I will send it to you. Or you can reach us at businessmarketingengine.com. I hope this week's been useful for you as far as learning more about email marketing. And if you need any help, we're here to help and serve you. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day, an awesome weekend, and we will see you next week on the show.